Contention 1, Inherency Attitudinal. A. Promises, never real release. The 2005 G8 meeting was dubbed the 100% Debt Relief Summit. Pledges were made to double aid to Africa by 2010 and to forgive third world nations' debt. However, estimates from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development show that the G8 leaders will fall short of the 2005 promise by much as 23 billion. The European Network on Debt and Development notes much of the debt forgiven was actually cut from those nations' aid packages. Monograph 2009. This betrayal is in keeping with 40 years of empty promises. In 1970, developed nations signed a UN resolution which pledged 0.7% of their national incomes to foreign aid. Denmark, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and Luxembourg have done much more, but no G8 country has done this. Today, U.S. aid is only 0.16% of gross national income, the lowest percentage among donor nations. Another promise not kept. Monograph 2009. Structural. A. U.S. alone can't solve. The United States cannot solve the world problems alone and will work with the United Nations to fight terrorism, poverty, and other major challenges. UN Ambassador Susan Rice explained in a speech at New York University, Washington must lead by example, acknowledge its mistakes, change its politics and strategies when necessary, and treat others with respect. The global challenges we face cannot be tackled without U.S. leadership, but we need the effective cooperation of a broad range of friends and partners. Newsmax, August 12, 2009. B. Current programs actually sustain poverty. Most of the current anti-poverty efforts focus on redistributing funds from wealthier nations to poorer ones, either the mandatory taxation or charitable donations. This system ignores the fact that tomorrow the poor need to be fed again. Taxpayers or the voluntary donor must dig into his own funds yet again to help. The process is repeated daily. Each time the poor recipient is only temporarily helped, as the taxpayer or donor becomes poorer themselves. Meanwhile, as massive funds are moved in and out of government, bureaucracies are institutionalized to run the system. More money goes to feed the machinery of poverty than gets into the hands of the intended poor. Such a system sustains poverty rather than it eradicates it. Dewey's 2007. C. Current energy policies actually institutionalize poverty. Policies which prevent or severely restrict development and energy use result in violation of the most basic human rights, denying economic opportunities and the chance for better lives. The right to rid their countries of diseases that were vanquished long ago in Europe and the United States. For example, lack of electricity means no purification or sewage treatment, no power for offices or hospitals, and no stoves to replace pollution, belching lung disease, causing open fires. There is also mounting pressure by outside organizations against the use of agricultural biotechnology. That means farmers cannot use insects and disease-resistant crops that would reduce the need for pesticides. Not can they increase yields and profits. Again, the system sustains poverty rather than it eradicates it. It is becoming increasingly clear that poverty will never be eradicated unless those working on the problem will allow themselves to look for a drastically new way to attack it. Dewey 2007. D. The real roots of poverty aren't being addressed currently. In a world growing wealth, there are 1.2 billion people living in poverty and 50,000 deaths per day worldwide as a result of poverty. Every year, more than 10 million children die of hunger and preventable diseases. More than half of the world's population lives on less than $2 per day, and 800 million people go to bed hungry every night. To combat the situation, there are massive efforts underway from churches to charitable organizations to local, state, federal, and international government programs designed to eradicate poverty. Yet billions of dollars in foreign aid has been distributed to countries around the world to help feed the poor. Yet the problem continues to escalate. There is an ever-growing disparity between rich and poor. Why? To date, nearly every effort to eradicate poverty has focused on temporary relief of the suffering rather than getting to the root of the poverty and creating real solutions to actually eradicate poverty permanently. The result of such efforts, while well-intended and perhaps necessary in the short run to assure the poor are at least kept alive, will not solve the problem of poverty. In fact, such programs may actually make the situation worse. Series 2007. E. Currently many countries